Well, what's going on, everybody? It is basically the end of Loki, or is it? Did you like how I did that?
Yeah, that was crafty.
So we're going to talk tonight. We're going to talk tonight about Loki episode 6, and then we're also going to have a good discussion about something that I think we all need to talk about. And do we want to go ahead and bring it up, what the discussion is going to be, or do we want to save that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and just bring it up. I think.
All right. Look who's here.
Uh-oh. Oh,
I'm here.
Uh-oh. Did he go? Is that a variant?
Yeah.
So
It's
what?
a variant.
Go ahead, Ace. What are we gonna go talk about after Loki?
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about our enjoyment of the MCU and probably DC movies, about how it's looking more and more likely that it's not a good thing if you're a fan of the comics. So, yeah, I mean, our enjoyment level is going down while the common fan is going up. So,
right. All right. So
and I think we're going to piggyback another topic too. So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to mesh together perfectly. So it's about the same kind of thing. So let's jump right into something that Ref probably still hasn't watched. I'm guessing you haven't watched it, have you, Ref?
You're correct.
All right, we're going to jump right into Loki episode 6. First reactions.
oh, I enjoyed it.
I did too, a lot. Way more than what anybody. Again, we're getting some feedback from some streamers. Some streamers are saying they liked it, but there's a group of them again not saying that they didn't like it at all. But I did.
Is that right? Yeah, I was curious how some reactions were. I stayed away from it all today because I wanted to not be spoiled. So I was curious whether this was a oh hey yeah this is awesome or more of a it sucks.
What did you think, Aaron?
Well, I was excited about it. I mean, at least I think the build-up that they did to the last episode I thought was great, and I thought they finished it on a high note. So
yeah,
or a higher note than what others have finished.
Well, on what some of the streamers were saying is that they actually fell asleep during the whole thing, and it was so boring to them that they didn't want to watch it again. So,
oh come on, I want to say like what Mr. Aaron said last week that we were debating, weren't we? Like, oh, they're going to show Kang or they're not going to show Kang.
Yeah.
And
do you have to include spoilers or something here?
Oh yeah.
Spoiler
alert. We're going all in right now. So
this is
spoiled.
red alert. This is DEFCON 5. Get ready. Okay. So go now. But yeah, were they going to show Kang or not going to show Kang? And finally they came through, but they did it clever. They did it in a clever way that when we see Kang in Ant-Man 3, it's going to be, and we'll get into that, it's going to be a different version. So in one sense, we haven't seen that Kang.
Okay. So, I mean, that goes to one of my first questions that I was going to ask is, so how many variants of Kang is there actually going to be, you think?
That is where, again, they're going to diverge from the books. So, mostly we're familiar with 4 to 5 if you count Iron Lad. And I mean, there was more, but those are the ones we're familiar with. So I wonder if in the movies we're going to see like multiple versions. So it should be interesting to see how they play it.
They have to bring in Rama Tut, don't they? I mean,
man, I would certainly think, I really think we're going to see all of them in some fashion over the next couple of years. Whether it's a Mortis or whether it's a a Scarlet Centurion, or whether we actually see a younger Iron Lad in Young Avengers, or what. I think we're gonna see some. I think we're gonna see some stuff.
So
I
I'm
mean,
gonna.
I
No.
just think that I was just saying I think that it sets up. I mean, keep in mind. I mean, we've seen Loki as the Loki variant that we know. So I mean, they can always use. They don't have to have 65 different versions of Kang. They can always do 5 different versions and have them all very similar. They don't have to have an alligator Kang. You know what I mean? So that was it was kind of
Right.
interesting how they kind of set it up. You know, with that, I know they went a little crazy with the Loki variants, but they don't have to do that if they don't want to. You know, and I know they said something about 60 some different timelines right there at the very last second. But
So I'll ask you, Ace, first, and then I'll ask you, Ref. What variant are you wanting to see the most? What Kang?
Well, I mean, Kang has always been my favorite. I guess I probably liked Scarlet Centurion. I don't know that we'll see that one. He's the least popular, I would say. I was never that interested in Ramatutta or Mortis per se. I just thought Kang always had a really cool look. So he's always my favorite and the one that I want to see the most. And I hope they do him right as a pretty ruthless warlord type. So
No, what do you think, Ref?
First of all, Aaron, thank you for being back. Coach,
that's why
wonderful.
A-Run.
Yeah, Coach, what a wonderful haircut. Ace, I love
Man.
you.
oh,
I am
yeah.
I am super refreshed right now. So
Look at the good mood Ref is in. Woo!
Yeah.
not so grouchy tonight. But I am with
Yeah.
Ace in the sense that his look is next to none, and I think Kang just I don't know if he carries the BA villain look as much as Thanos, but I think his look is amazing from the comics. I want that variant. I want the variant, and I may be on a small island saying that I get a little tired of the variants. Let's get us one good variant. And maybe that's where I get a little ate up with Loki is like I get it. We're doing cool things with variations and whatnot, but it doesn't necessarily give me one good variant. Give me one good character. So
Well, you better strap on because there's gonna be Spider-Man variants and
It's
every
just
kind of
starting.
variant you can imagine.
But that's
I think
but
there's gonna
Spider-Man
be all
doesn't do the
kinds.
variant thing. Spider-Man doesn't do the variant thing. Like I just see like Ultimate Spider-Man as something far in the future, like Miles Morales. Like I just think of him someone taking up like Peter's his you know his web shooters.
Or Batman Beyond.
Well, yeah.
So I just gotta say, like, I feel like everybody wanted this to begin with because they wanted everything connected, and the only way that you can have everything connected is if you have variations of every character, so that you can have a timeline in which Tony Stark doesn't die, because if he comes back, I feel like that's where. Like everybody wanted this, and then now that you get it, you're like, oh, okay. There's a lot to unpack because they can do whatever they want to now in a timeline, and then just prune it or just change, and then say, oh, we're no longer dealing with timeline 65. We're gonna go back to this one, or that's sacred timeline Iron Man, and so I personally was one of the people who was like, I like that MCU is different than the comics because MCU is just different to me. It's just a movie, and I can go read my comics and read that if I wanted a different version. But I'm probably in the extreme minority, and I probably just got muted again. So
I didn't
Yeah,
mute you.
Aaron, you can go on now. We've had enough of you. You can mosey on.
Yep.
Now I
No,
said
but
this
that's
to
a
you.
good perspective.
I said this to you, Ace, right away. I was worried about all these timelines, all these different things to be so confusing. I understand it because the only way that Steve Rogers isn't done. It's the only way that Tony Stark isn't done. But I'm gonna tell you, your casual fan that gets movies to the $1 billion mark, are they all going to be in for it? Are they all going to be gung ho, or are they going to be just so freaking confused that they're going to? I don't know what to do right now. You know what I mean? It's like Will
Yeah,
Ferrell.
I
I
mean,
don't know what to do with my hands. It's too many options.
yeah, to me, yeah, for me, this is exciting. I love the whole, like, oh man, I can't wait to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with Tom Holland Spider-Man. And then those movies are considered canon, so to speak. And so that excites me greatly. But I grew up on multiverse comics. So JSA and Justice League crossing over when I'm 5 years old. So that's super exciting for me. But I think this is a good litmus test. Is that very appealing to your casual viewer? I think some will find it appealing. I think some will be put off by it, and it's gonna come down, how do they articulate it? How do they actually present it to the audience? Is it gonna be confusing, or is it gonna be pretty simple and straightforward? That's gonna be contingent on how the audience is gonna react. For me, I'm gonna be good either way, but well, not every way, but I think the casual fan, jury's out.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think, like, I don't know. So I think it's easier in a comic to bring up multiverse theory because, I mean, everybody, if you're reading the comics, you're following it. You're not just grabbing issue 33 and starting from there. You're reading those comics. I think that's where it gets trickier in the movies and how they present it, because you have to try to target. And I guess they're walking a tightrope where they're trying to target and bring in, the comic book fan, the hardcore fan, and also bring in people who are just your average person who likes to watch a Marvel movie. And so I think that's the walk. If they're just going to make it for the hardcore fan, it's not going to bring in the audience that they would need to make the movie. And then I don't know. That's just where I go to. I'm like, I don't know how creative you can really be and still. I mean, that's why I think they throw in the those cookies for people that they just like to oh, there's that thing I saw. There's the Frog Thor. And they try to bring that in for the extreme fan, and then everybody else is along for the ride.
All right, so let's go sort of at the beginning.
Well,
It felt so much like Ant-Man Quantum to me right at the beginning, how they were showing like the planets and all that kind of stuff. What did you think?
Yeah, it was similar. Yeah.
Do you think that's a nod towards it?
I would say more than likely. I mean, I definitely think so. Yeah, they're trying to set something. I think it's a nod too, though, to Doctor Strange and just the multiverse in general. They're just trying to show you, oh wow, this looks like get ready, because there's just multiple versions. So
yeah. And then this felt again like Wizard of Oz to me, standing in front of the castle. I mean, gigantically Wizard of Oz. And then it was even worse to me when they were going up to the door. Like, I thought they were going to knock on the door, and it was so Wizard of Oz, in my opinion, on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's hard not to see that inspiration there with the Wizard of Oz nods. So I gotta say, visually, I'm super impressed with what they've shown in this series. It definitely looks like they spent some money on it, in my opinion. Does not look cheap at all.
Yep, I agree. One of the first things that I was shocked at, that I think everybody else was, is when the doors open. Were you all shocked at all at who was there?
I must have been spoiled on that or something. I saw something today. So
I wasn't expecting it.
Really?
It's called Miss Minutes, right?
I thought it was
Minutes.
awesome. I thought it was funny. I wasn't spoiled on it. I thought it was great that she was there and then flipped back into the sacred timeline. I thought it was great. So I thought it was funny.
I thought it felt a little creepy, actually.
I think it's funny.
I think they were going for that a little bit. She's kind of like ominous, like, oh yeah, she's a little bit creepy in a good way. Hilarious and creepy at the same time, if that's possible.
I just like having that character there. Just I thought it was funny because everybody. I mean, everybody's like, oh, here's the big reveal right when they walk through the door, and then you get Mrs. Minutes. Like, I don't know. I think it's funny.
Yeah. It was cool.
I mean, they didn't waste any time for sure.
No, you can't. I did notice that, when we started the episode, I was like, 47 minutes. Really? That's like one of the shorter ones.
Were you shocked a little bit when Miss Minutes was telling Loki that he could have, basically defeat Thanos? He could have Thor's, everything. I don't know who's knocking.
Yeah, I feel like someone's getting beat up. Are we all safe?
I guess. But what did you think of his decision?
Say that again.
Where Ms. Menace was talking to Loki and saying basically you could change your whole past. You could have exactly what you wanted. You could go back and defeat the Avengers in New York. You could have defeated Thanos all by yourself. And you could start telling that isn't what he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's just appealing to his base nature and thinking, oh, you haven't grown, or hoping. So obviously it's good to show that Loki is growing and changing, and they didn't take the bait. So
yeah. Anybody else on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it appeals to who he was, and then it sets the change up for later in the episode of that. In fact, he is changing. So I thought that I did like how they threw that in there.
And then we have already, I mean, it was quick. You have the elevator, the man behind the curtain. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Were you all shocked that it was? Were you shocked that it was this fast on the episode?
No, I wasn't shocked. I was I guess pleasantly surprised. Like, good, okay.
I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he was very wizard-ish, where he was so easy to talk to, and that kind of thing. It sort of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
I was expecting Kang the Conqueror a little bit.
Well, and we can get into that, and that's my theory on that. But yes, I think you're absolutely right. It was just a very Wizard of Oz, not who you were going to expect. If this is the big bad of the Time Variance Authority, it's like, okay, he doesn't seem so bad or so mean.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about him, and I don't know if it's the actor or what, but he felt very unpredictable. Like one time he jumped up on the table.
Yeah, this guy's a really good actor. He was in Lovecraft Country, and I'm not sure what else he's been in, but he was in that show. The show itself is a mess. It's like some of the episodes are amazing, and some are just, whoa, what is the show? But he is consistent throughout. I was actually excited when they cast him as Kang because he's a really good actor. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. He can bring that menace, and he can also bring that charm and just be super sincere and a really good kind of good guy. So it'll be fascinating to see what he brings to the character.
Well, I just thought it was what I liked about the unpredictability of him in the episode was it did allow them to use Kang in the episode, but yet not see Kang the Conqueror, or the version that we kind of expect and want to see. We get that reveal later, and so I did like that they made him very, like you said. I mean, Willy Wonka, it really was, or Wizard of Oz, or unpredictable, like that weird kind of eccentric character, and I thought that was kind of interesting that was the villain that they went with. It was a relatable villain, I thought.
Yeah. Hey, did it surprise you all? Like, I almost forgot totally about Mobius. Went back through. It surprised me that he was back at TVA.
Oh, okay. I just
did that
assumed
surprise
he's gonna
you?
have to go back and. I guess yes and no. I mean, you got to have some kind of resolution, or at least set up what's going to happen for more adventures with whatever this is. So I was glad that they had him kind of confront Ravonna here.
Yeah. And then Ravonna actually ends up being a badass. Like
Oh,
she
yeah.
said at that one time, he tried to punch her, and it was like, "You're not gonna be able to punch me." Now, here's a question for you, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it very well. Did you notice in the background the diploma on what it says?
I did not know.
It says Rebecca Torment, which is Ravonna Renslayer.
Oh.
It's a alias that she used in
Yeah.
the comics. So I love how they always do that
Yes.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So I was reading here. It says in the comics, Rebecca is the name adopted by Ravonna Renslayer when she went back in time to meet her lover, Kang.
Dang, yeah. Yeah, so they're going to connect somehow. It will be interesting to see how they make that, happen.
Yeah. Anything else that you sort of want to go? I mean, I have a bunch more photos we can go through.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess just, we finally do get the reveal of the Time War and what that is. So, I mean, the episode itself was a little talky, and my son and I are watching it, and he said he really liked the episode, but he liked the last one better. He said they did a lot of talking, uh, but and it's true. But it was a good episode, and it laid things out, really good for what's going to come out ahead. So, but yeah, I was pretty fascinated in how they presented the Time War, and so some of it was true and how they actually went about revealing the events, I thought were pretty great.
Oh, well, elaborate a little bit.
Well, I mean, the Time War was real, so there was a multiverse Time War. But guess who was the architect of all of it? It's Kang. So, and if I can say this real quick, you find out that Kang and correct me if I'm wrong though, guys. I don't think they ever referred to him by that name. It was just the one. He's I don't know, what do they call him? The man or the one? Help me out.
They call him He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. Thank you. So
they also called it. He did call himself the Conqueror once.
Yeah. So you find out that He Who Remains, there was one of him in some universe that found multiverses upon multiverses, and then more of him start to meet and collaborate, and then more of them start to meet, and they find out not everyone is very nice, and some of them are pretty evil and mean, and then the universal war breaks out between all the different Kangs, for lack of a better word. And that's and that's kind of what the TVA says. There was a multiverse war, which was true. The part that wasn't true is the Timekeepers are obviously just a made up fantasy.
Which
and
that puzzles
somehow,
me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's very Wizard of Oz. Like, oh, the great and powerful wizard. And then here's this unassuming character behind the scenes running the show. So, and I found it interesting. How was it this version of Kang became the one who landed where he was at and ran the TVA? So that's an interesting story to be told, I think.
He then says to them at one point that they can rule this.
Say that one more time.
Kang said to them, Loki and Sylvie,
yes,
that you all can take this over and you can rule this. Are you shocked at all that they didn't want to go for that? Or do you know that they knew that he was basically messing with them?
Well, that's the whole thing. Was he messing with him? Like Loki says, when they're offered it, it's like, I'm a liar. This guy's not lying. For whatever reason, he's telling the truth. So, and the bargain he gave him is, okay, I thought it would be one person, but it's two. So you guys are it. But if you don't want it and you want to kill me, well, here's what's gonna happen. And Sylvie thinks he's full of crap.
And this, again, this sort of took forever, but I also felt that it was a very important part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, they needed this to move everything else to where it was supposed to be going. So
Exactly
as boring
right.
as it might have been, and as falling asleep as some people were saying that they were, it had to be done like this.
Well, I guess I took it a different way, because I don't. I don't think it was boring, because I do agree with you, Jeff. I think, or Coach, I think that they were setting everything up, and so that interests me. I don't have to see explosions all over the place. I mean, I have the Avengers movie if I want to go watch that, and so setting everything up, I thought they did a great job of the conversation, and then our Loki, the version that we're following, changed, and so in order to like cement the change, he had to like that was part of the whole, the whole dialogue there was to say like, hey, I have changed. I'm a liar. I can see a liar. He's not lying, and to kill him and just take or allow everything to go the way it was is dangerous. And so I thought that was a really interesting idea behind who fills the void, and he wasn't taking over to fill the void. He was like, I don't even want it. I just want to be with you. I just don't want to take him out because of what could come. And so I thought that was really interesting to like, he's looking big picture for like the first time, not just about him. Like, I think that we finally saw the character like cemented, changed. So
Yeah.
I
Another
totally agree with
thing,
that.
if you remember this, Ace, when we were doing WandaVision, one of the best fight scenes that we all agreed with was White Vision against Vision. And it wasn't even a fight. It was the mental thing that they did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of similar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then I guess somebody on Twitter today just kind of posted a picture of, does anyone here remember The Matrix Reloaded? And that scene with the architect, and Neo goes in there, and at the time, I mean, this has been a long time ago, but the big complaint was that it was boring. There's this whole scene where the architect just talks and talks and talks to Neo. I always found that fascinating when he's explaining to Neo about the Matrix, and you're not the first one. You're like the seventh time we've done this, and you're different from the other versions. And so now I get it, because I was like, oh, okay, you posted that in relation to the Loki finale tonight, because it was a little talky, but I found it fascinating what this version of Kang, or whoever he is, was telling them. And you're getting the official story of this huge war and setting everything up for what's to come. So I didn't find it boring at all.
And see, I think the sad thing is the attention span of people now. The attention span is, I need to see action. I need to see everything boom, boom, boom real fast. But this was giving you history.
Yeah, exactly. No, hey, I'm an action guy though. So would I've liked to seen another 10 minutes of some balls to the wall action? Sure. But what I got here was pretty darn cool.
I mean, hey, and we got Kang. I mean, come on, guys. Like, I mean, that's what's so funny. Is I feel like everybody out there is like, I don't know. If we don't get Kang, I'm gonna be mad. And then you get Kang, and it's like, well, I didn't get the version of Kang I really wanted. I mean, isn't that what the movie's for? I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm a little like, man, we finally got something.
Yeah, that's exactly what Sam just says. I'm just glad we got some kind of payoff. I'm going to tell you right now, if it would have been this lengthy of a conversation and Kang would not have showed up, I would have then been, holy crap, this is awful.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Are we having troubles again?
No troubles here.
Oh, okay, there.
Hey,
yeah, you're absolutely right, man.
Without watching the show, without knowing the awesomeness that becomes, did we have to use an Asgardian to delve into the time warps of Marvel Universe? I hate to play Debbie Downer, but I think we got a a missed shot there. Like, let's go as Guardian. I mean, like, you're missing, to me, Captain, Iron Man, those type of characters play a big role in the Marvel Universe. But one of the secrets of the Marvel Universe is the, the Asgardian arena. You could have done a prequel. You could have done something. And again, without seeing this most recent episode, I'm caught up to it. But without seeing this most recent episode, like, I'm sorry, I may be a little Debbie Downer. Like, they had a little bit of miss shot without including the Asgardian elements of it. You got Loki, and let's just go through the time warps. You could have used 100 different characters for that, and I'll shut myself up. Bye.
Well, I guess I can understand that. It's kind of like, while I love Loki, was he the most appropriate character for this type of storyline? There may have been another Marvel character that maybe could have fit that whole storyline a little differently or a little more appropriately. But, they did what they did at the end of Endgame, and that's, I'm sure they wanted to. I mean, the basis of the catalyst, I'm sure, really wasn't like, hey, let's use it. Let's find a really cool character to plug in here. It's like, hey, everyone loves Tom Hiddleston. We want to do something with Loki. This is, hey, we're gonna have him do this at the end game, and here we are. So,
but that seems like they're
totally different plot.
But that seems like they're picking a character for the plot instead of the plot for the character. And I think that's the disappointing part of it.
Well, I think that's going to play into what we are going to talk about later. So
All right.
If you love comics, you're going to hate movies. Just kidding, mostly.
Well, at least we get to see some action finally, but it's Loki against Sylvie.
Yeah, we get a little sword action here. So we got a little action. It was good.
We did,
action.
and I mean they did some special effects with it and everything.
Yeah, I'm not hating on it. Yeah, I'm not hating on it. It's all right.
It's a little exciting.
Did you notice though how fast when Loki swung? Yeah, right there when he swung in front, he drops his sword. He swings in front. Like how fast it's like it magically just stops. Like she's swinging hardcore and then boom, stops. I was like, man, that's a little unrealistic.
Yeah.
But I thought that was hilarious. Like all of a sudden it's like lined up right on his neck without even I thought that was interesting.
She's got lots of skill.
There's two things on that. If you want to go to that, which I agree with you, that it just stops. No, I do agree with you. But look how far away Kang is from the sword. Yeah. She is swinging from there at Kang and stops it right there with Loki. How was she going to get to Kang?
I didn't even notice that.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Next. It's a movie.
True.
Let me find. Okay, so what did you all think about how she pushed Loki through?
Yeah, so what do we make?
Were you expecting that?
Well, I didn't know what I was gonna expect. I was like, well, is she gonna want to be with him, or what does she want? So ultimately, and what do you guys think? I'm taking that as, I think she obviously has feelings for herself, Loki, but her need for revenge and what her life has been took precedent, and so ultimately she chose that revenge over being with Loki. Am I off base on that, or
no?
What do
I
we
agree.
think?
I agree. I also think, pushing him through the portal to see the version of Kang that he sees in the statue. I know it's ominous sitting there, but I think that's a good way to end it, where we don't go back and see Sylvie. So I did like that.
I think it's interesting though, to where what you're saying about Sylvie is that she couldn't get over what she truly wanted and desired. So she must have not has changed as much as what Loki did. Loki had an opportunity to get everything he wanted with killing Thanos and having all the power, and he decided, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it actually did shock me, especially at how he has always been that character that was always myself, and then he gets twisted on by a variant of himself.
But I don't think
Right.
Sylvie changed at all. If you really wanted to be honest in the whole episode, it wasn't about her change. It was about Loki's change. And so, I mean, if you're looking at that, like, I don't think she changed. I mean, she essentially the whole time could have been, using him to get the. I mean, yeah. Granted, we see, as the audience, we see these like moments where we're like, oh, that's real. But I mean, all she did is kiss him and look at him and throw him through a. So I mean, I don't know. I know the love is there that we're supposed to view that, but I was like, I don't think she changed at all. He did. I mean, but that's his story. It wasn't really her story. So
now, what did you think of this
Yeah.
at the end there?
Yeah, he's like, well, okay. I mean, have it your way. This is what's going to happen. I'll see you soon.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, and he even winked at her.
Yeah.
He even winked like, and he said it way before this even happened. He said, if I'm gone, another one of me will be here. They'll find their way
that's
here.
The thing. I mean, and the question is like, did he actually really want that? Was he being honest that he did want to just, hey, hand it over and he goes and does whatever and relaxes? Or was he secretly like, you know what? I am old. I am tired. I'm ready for something new. And maybe this is really what he wanted to have happen. And he knew maybe she would be the one to do it.
Well, I mean, the MCU. I mean, we've seen layered villains. I mean, look at Thanos. It's not just. I mean, I don't know. It was interesting that Thanos is in a field. At Endgame. So I'm like, you're looking at it. And it's like it is layered. Is he saying? Is that his moment where he's like, I'm in a field. I've done everything I need to do. That's boring to me or whatever. And now.
Right.
Either kill me or let's do something different where I don't. You almost have a moment where he takes the whatever it was ball and drops it or whatever he dropped, where he was like almost excited. Did you see his face where he's like, I don't know what's going to happen for like the first time.
Right.
So I thought there was a moment in him where he's like, I don't know what's going to happen, and that's the thrill seeker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting. Where probably for a while he hasn't had that feeling, and then he had it, and
And then as soon as that happens, the timelines just go absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was like, ooh, here we go.
And Booster Gold arises.
What's that?
He said Booster Gold arises.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Rip Hunter is back.
left right on a high note, guys.
Uh-oh,
Yeah. Why did you leave when I'm speaking? I was speaking some truth.
So, what's kind of cool, though, is that, like we were saying, they're not going to do anything big in a series. They're not going to introduce a major villain in the series, and then you go watch Ant-Man. But you know what? Technically, they didn't. So this Kang
Great point.
is
Great
dead.
point.
And so when we see the real, and he's never even referred to as Kang. So when we see Kang, we will see Kang for the first time in Ant-Man.
But here's my point. Why couldn't Kang have some sort of quote unquote black order like Thanos did? Like, you kept Kang instead of being I'm gonna go way out there and say unauthentic and say, oh, we've got 18 versions of Kang. Let's have Kang and people who follow Kang, and then use those people who followed Kang in the TV series.
Well, one thing Feige said right from the beginning of all these Disney Plus series is he doesn't want anybody to have to watch these to be able to understand what the big movies are going to be about. So I like what your point is that they never introduced Kang, technically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they did. I mean, they introduced Kang as a I don't know, as an entity.
The only thing that was said for us to 100% say it's Kang is he said, I'm a conqueror. and that was it.
Oh, so we should be excited that they introduced Kang?
No, I mean the point is like whether we like it or not, Feige has said, "Hey, you know," and that's why we were starting to get frustrated with like, oh, okay, so we're never gonna have anything of merit on this show, and we're gonna get teased, like we did in WandaVision, and then basically to some degree a little bit of Falcon, and but okay, so they did it without actually doing it.
See, that's what I was gonna say. I like it because it allows them to not use the version that they have planned for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But it also gives me a reason for watching the stupid show other than watching the show. Like, I mean, great. I would watch it if it was Loki and it was in a separate timeline because that's who I am and I would watch it. But it I don't know. I'm finally glad I got something instead of teasing me to death and then it being somebody else that you're going to pull an obscure. I'm just going to say it. Like you're going to pull an obscure character like they did in, the Agatha, which I thought was funny. I mean, I thought it was funny, but it just was a total letdown after you gave me everything that I wanted to see and then it wasn't there, So
Totally agree. I totally agree with Aaron. I agree. Like, I'm glad that you made something of it, but again, we can go back and probably this is a discussion fast forward that, we could have done so many different series before Loki. We could have done a She-Hulk series, a Moon Knight series, God, you could have rehashed all the Netflix series. Like, this was something that they had to put some sort of teaser in. But again, that's in my opinion is Marvel's problem. They have to have teasers and everything.
I think that's my biggest concern of what you're exactly saying is when is Ant-Man coming out? When is the next time we are going to see Kang? Are we talking almost 2 years?
Let's think about this for a second. We've got Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain Marvel, and Black Panther. Yeah. So Ant-Man is early 2023.
24. Oh.
Yeah, early 2023.
So a little less than 2 years.
Yeah, they've dated it. I just can't remember the date, but
so let's just say 18 months.
Yeah, roughly. But not. Hey, not really because we're getting Loki's going to be in Doctor Strange. So this
sounds like a good spot for him.
This goes into Doctor Strange. I'm sure there's going to be hints of in Spider-Man. So you'll get that. And then that's going to be December. And then Doctor Strange is, I don't know, March or May. I can't remember. And then you'll get Ant-Man. So it'll be every year. But
and
think how they did Thanos. So
yeah, wasn't it 6 or 7 years that they first showed Thanos to when he was there?
Well, they showed him in 2012 in the first Avengers. And then we saw him in the first Guardians, like his full
that's
body.
Right. Yep.
In what, 2014. And then we got a little teaser for him at the end of Ultron. I think it was Ultron in the after credit scene. And then it wasn't, obviously it was, 2018. Was it 2018, 2019 for Infinity War Endgame? So, took a while.
So real quick, let's end this couple things real quick. What did you think about Mobius not even knowing who Loki was?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to hear your guys' theories. I was like, what? What just happened? So was it already branching off? Is that what's happened?
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think she pushed him into a branch and not back into the sacred timeline. So
Okay. Because you're right, it was already branching out, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, even before they killed Kang or
not to the extreme that it was when they killed Kang, but it was 100% branching out.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what Sam just said. Right. Sam says it rewrote the timeline.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So now that's what I was thinking, but I was like, wait, what? the heck just happened here?
So I have
So
a
I
I have
don't
a
know if
weird
you have that scene though. No, go ahead.
no, I just got a weird question. So or not a weird question, but I had this like thought where I'm like, so Loki and Sylvie are the only two people who really know, Kang or the one who remains is at the end of the sacred timeline, right? So Sylvie pushes Loki into this branch of the timeline. What's to stop Loki from grabbing one of those little time pads, popping back to the sacred timeline, pruning all of it before Sylvie kills Kang? And I guess in my head I'm like, really, like I maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but I'm like, what's to stop him from right there just saying, hey, let me have your pad, and then pop over back onto the main timeline and prune it right before. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, am I being Debbie
That-
Downer? Am I looking at this too weird? I'm just like,
that's an exercise in futility of any time travel movie or time travel show. Man, I mean, there are loopholes after loopholes if you really want to start digging.
And I think that's exactly where the MCU has to be very, very careful, because they can't make things so crazy that people are just like, so everything I'm watching, everything might change on the very next move. You can't do that constantly.
Yeah, they're going to have to. We'll see how this plays out. Oh, good. That's
Well,
the scene.
Yep.
I was like, hey, there's Kang's classic costume minus the helmet.
Yep. I like that a lot.
Yeah. We better see that damn helmet, though. I'm going to be pissed if we don't.
I agree. It better not be like Baron Zemo either. It better be for a lot longer than just 30 seconds.
Come on. Exactly.
And then, let me find this. Where is it? For you all can talk.
sorry, I was talking to my daughter.
So, do you think one crazy thing is, could Kang show up as Rama Tut in Black Panther 2?
I find that highly unlikely.
I wouldn't.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I wouldn't think it would, because then now you're gonna have that movie on a different time, which maybe you have a different Black Panther if you do that. I don't know, but throwing on a different timeline seems like they're gonna that might be a little where you're talking, Jeff. It might start throwing people way off.
Yep. Yeah. And then here's what we all thought was going to happen, because we had heard it's going to happen, but they made it official.
Yep. Yeah, which was good that happened, because my son was like, "What? Are you kidding me? That's the end." I was like, "Hold on, surely they're gonna do something." So
I wasn't overly happy though that was the cut scene, the end scene.
Oh, me neither. I was like, okay, what are they gonna show us? And then it was nothing. And I fast forwarded all the way to the end and nothing. So
FYI, Marvel, you've got so many characters that you can reveal. I don't know.
Hey guys, I gotta step off here for a minute. I'll see you guys here in a minute.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. So overall very good.
Oh, I loved it.
I agree with Sam though. Black Panther 2 is gonna have way too much going on with Namor and trying to set up the new Black Panther or whatever the hell they're gonna do with that. So no, I don't see anything like that. I think personally that Fantastic Four is going to play a big part into all this,
which would be fantastic. And pardon the pun of the show, but I think it would fit. I mean, it really would fit well.
Yeah, I think so too. And the thing that I was wanting to touch on earlier was that I think this version of Kang with all these variants that met each other and started collaborating is very reminiscent of Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four, where the Council of Reeds. And, Reed ended up meeting all these alternate universal versions of himself. And they had a council on how to best, take care or develop things in the whole multiverse. So it feels like they took that idea and maybe merged it with Kang. So I don't know. It just seems like it's a natural fit. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think Ace brings up an important part is that if you want to incorporate some sort of I think Reed Richards is the way to go. Sorry, God dang, I can't cut my Look at. Do you see that kid? I'm sorry about that.
We got little monsters around here.
I'm sorry. This is the best pockets internet, and apparently kind of taking all bits for it. So, but seriously, I think Reed Richards would have been a important part of the multiverse, and I think he would have been a perfect figure for that. In understanding that, up until the last couple of years, the Fantastic Four in the Marvel Universe was complicated at best.
All right, so that is it for
Yep.
our final talk about Loki season 1, episode 6. But there will be a season 2, which I'm excited for, and it makes sense that Loki, out of all of these so far, would have a season 2, in my opinion. Hopefully for big
it
things
really
to come.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
And in less than a month, we got What If coming up, and I think What If actually looked awesome. And man, if they can get animation right, look out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, the Marvel. So what do we got? I mean, and we'll segue into our next segment though. Is we've got Loki. We just had Black Widow. August is What If, and then September is Shang-Chi. And so then we have left for the year Eternals in November, and Hawkeye and Ms. Marvel will finish out the year on Disney Plus. So
I mean,
Did
I'll
we-
do that.
Marvel.
Did we conclude our opinions on Black Widow?
We haven't talked about it
We have
yet.
not. Yeah, we're gonna. touch on
I'm
that
sure it's
here.
gonna come up in this next segment,
Yep.
Okay.
for sure.
So,
So,
all right.
Ace, I'm gonna let you segue to this next segment because you know what you want to say, and you're gonna introduce the clip that we're gonna say.
Yeah. Hey guys, check out Young Ripa podcast. Eric D. July. He's an amazing. Well, I just enjoy his show immensely. So we're gonna show a little clip here from him. So go check his show out on YouTube. Go subscribe. He has a lot of great videos on there. But we're gonna let this video play for a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna talk about and go on from what he says here.
And I hope you are going to be able to hear this, so I think you can. So you can say yes if you can, but let's go ahead and play it.
Stay away from it.
We got it.
If you are remotely knowledgeable on it, stay away from it. That's all I care about. Accurate depictions. It ain't got to be exactly like the comic books. It don't have to be verbatim to a T. Though if it was, I wouldn't complain. You wouldn't either because you're a fucking normie. But that's not my expectation. I just want it to be honored. Those are not those characters. That ain't fucking Taskmaster. That's not Red Guardian. That's not, again, I had to find out the fact that fucking ain't Iron Maiden. These characters are not these characters. They're not. They are characters, and again, it's where they're going. It's like they get a list and they have like a sketch, and that's it. They just use the character and do whatever the fuck they want. It's a fucking free ball, bro. It's a free ball. Whatever they want, the character, does that make sense? Of course not. Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to still make sure they make that happen. It didn't have to make sense. And again, the more knowledgeable you are, the worse the movie gets for you. And that sucks. That sucks, dude. It really does, because you can't be enthusiastic about this shit. Kevin Feige told y'all blatant. Victoria Alonso told y'all blatant. This is what they give a fuck about. Victoria Alonso said.
So y'all get the gist of that.
Yeah.
He is right on the money, like bingo.
Yeah, he
Hey,
is.
and can't we say more about his Thomas Sowell poster and his Batman poster, what it may say in the background? But yeah, he is spot on. Vocally spot on.
Yeah,
couldn't
I
agree
mean, he's
more.
just. This is
Thank you
what
for showing me.
I mean. This is what our segment is really wanting to be about is just that there is a segment of the audience, and it's becoming clearer, Coach, especially on our TikTok. Some of the responses are very much like,
Mhm.
well, hey, you comic guys and wanting to be so accurate, it's all about the MCU now. It's its own animal. It really is. And those individuals or fans only care about the movies and the
Yeah.
MCU. They really don't give a shit about the comics. I mean, they're fans of the movies first and foremost, so I don't give a crap about those stupid paper books. So as Eric July says here, if you're like us who've read comics for years and that's the source material that we're getting all these shows and live action interpretations, guess what? We're at the stage now where if you are a fan, you are probably going to have less and less enjoyment because it's going to be less and less like it is. Like he said, it's perfect. Like he said, hey, I don't have to have it verbatim. I wouldn't freaking complain though. I would love
Yeah.
that, but I'm going to compromise and say, fine, fine, fine. We can't have it exactly like the comics. But now it's like that character is not the fucking character. I'm going to say it. Taskmaster was not Taskmaster.
Oh,
And
that was the
it was
worst part of the
ridiculous.
movie.
I'm
And
going to say
and
this though. Go ahead, Ref, because I'm going to say something too about it. But go ahead.
no, I think it's the worst part of the movie, worst part of the Black Widow movie, because they wasted such an important character on someone like that. And that's the frustrating part of it all. That is, to me, has got to be the worst part, is because they used a very important character, and if you don't know comics, Taskmaster is, and they wasted it on this BS excuse of a storyline of being the general's daughter, and now we will never have Taskmaster in the MCU ever again.
Well, the
And if we
argument would
do,
be we could because now there's so
well,
many
and
timelines.
yeah, well, and we could, but again, it's not going to be the true character of Taskmaster, because again, they changed the flair of Taskmaster. Okay, we're just going to plug this character into kung fu fighting movies instead of being able to. The true character of Taskmaster is being able to, visually identify, fighting moves and being able to mimic those as an intelligence move, not necessarily a programming move. I mean, that was a computer program in the general's daughter, and that's the unfortunate part of that. So
That's
again, go ahead, Coach.
that's exactly what I want to say. Right now, it doesn't matter if Taskmaster was a male or female. The way they made the character, basically a computer generated everything, not what the character of Taskmaster actually is. I don't understand that part of it. And another thing I don't understand, if they were so, you got to be careful with what you say, but if they were so wanting a female villain, I am fine with that. Give me Iron Maiden. Give me Snapdragon. Give me a character that makes sense to go against Black Widow that is a female villain that you
Yeah.
could have mixed into that better.
Yeah, because guess what? If they want to say, "Oh, you're going to get a Taskmaster," no, we're not. You think they're going to go make a freaking man Taskmaster now? No.
Oh
And look
no.
and look at her name. It's Antonia.
Yeah.
And what's Taskmaster's name? Tony Masters.
Yeah.
She's fucking Taskmaster, man. She's going to be Taskmaster. And I say screw you if you think, "Oh, it doesn't matter what gender it is." Bullshit. I'm sorry, Taskmaster's man. If you want a female villain, like Coach says, there's 10 villains or Marvel characters I can think of off the top of my head that you could have plugged in. It's bullshit.
That's what ticks us off. It's not that it was a male or a female character. What ticks you
No.
off is they made a male character female and completely crushed the character. Not just the change of the sex.
Yeah,
The character in general was crushed.
I mean, that's not the character. It's not a man. The powers are not it. It's Taskmaster in name only. This is equal to the Abomination of Deadpool or whatever the hell that was in Wolverine Origins. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's just, and people were pissed about it, and now you have a contingent saying, "I don't know why you're mad about it. Gender doesn't matter." Well, okay, gender doesn't fucking matter. Maybe we should have made Yelena a man and made her a love interest for Natasha. It doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Change her to a dude.
And see, in that TikTok that I did, no one must have even heard the beginning of what I said.
No, they didn't.
Yelena is actually one of my favorite MCU characters now. And I
Very
love
good.
Scarlett Johansson. Love her. Love Black
Yeah.
Widow. I'm not going to miss her. I'm not.
No.
Because of Yelena.
I mean, I know. It's like, well, if I'm going to hand the baton, I'm like, I really do want to see more adventures with Yelena. She's freaking great.
Sam says this, and that's even more scary, is the movies are creating the very thing causing American comics to fail. And that's true. So it's not just changing. It actually isn't just changing the movie, isn't changing characters. It's now going back and they're reworking comics to make it where the movies are.
Destroying comics.
Here lies my biggest argument. Is comics are adapting to movies instead of movies adapting to comics, and that is destroying the comic. I mean, because they seem when I read one of the biggest examples I have recently is because I'm so far behind, just like Ace, whatnot, is the Defenders of Comics. They adapted it to the Netflix series instead of the Netflix series adapting it to the comics. Like you see, Danny Rand as Iron Fist adapted to the way he looked in there instead of him adapting to the way he looked into the comics, which is ridiculous. And same with Daredevil, same with Luke Cage, same with Jessica Jones. Like again, there is no, comics have become a backboard of non-necessities. They don't want to adhere to the comics.
Well, this is why Coach, everyone knows I'm a massive Iron Fist fan, and that show sucked balls. And it's like, you don't even put the flipping character in the costume. Look, man, if you don't want to put him in the costume, don't make a fucking Iron Fist show, okay? It's like, what was the point of doing the show? We don't even want to put him in a costume or make half of what he is the character. So just do another show, man. Just do another show. Take a karate guy and make a show. That's fine. But don't call it Iron Fist because it isn't.
In my opinion, what sucks is if I'm arguing this point with Taskmaster or with anything, the first thing that's said is me is I'm a male chauvinist pig, or they're not hearing what I'm saying. I would have been gung ho, like give me, let's just say Snapdragon in place of Taskmaster. And that was how they tried to figure it out and make that work. Yeah, I would have been as gung ho as I was as seeing it as I did. And I thought the movie was good. I'm not going to say it was great, but it was a good movie.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The disappointing part of a fan of Taskmaster probably weighed on me not liking it even more. If I would have known anything about Taskmaster, I don't know if I would have had the same feeling.
I agree. I mean, it's like you go back to Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin, and that did suck. But, I mean, let's be honest. Mandarin it's not like there's a big fan following for the Mandarin. And I'm not equating Taskmaster to Deadpool or Spider-Man or anything like that, but he does have a fan base. And he does have a lot of great history in the comic. So it did have an impact on me in this movie, which, take Taskmaster out, it was a very serviceable movie. It was not awesome, but I enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot to like in it. But this particular circumstance really hurt it. And I equate it to the same thing that happened with Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Everyone was super excited to see Deadpool. And you got Wade Wilson in the beginning of the movie, and then you think, oh, here comes Deadpool, and it's a bastardized version of Deadpool. And they let the studio have it. Rightfully so. Deadpool has a big following. You screwed it up. And the same thing is here with Taskmaster.
The bad thing on this whole thing is Taskmaster is not done. Thunderbolts is coming, and Taskmaster is going to be a part of it.
Yeah,
100%.
It's going to be her, and she's going to have her flipping powers through a chip or some bullshit like. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't want.
There is no way. There is no way. I was going to say there's no way, because Taskmaster was so delegitimized by the end of that movie that what's the point?
Yeah,
what is the point?
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
All right, I will show this. Sam said this, and I think it's true. It might tag us, but they're going to flood it with the multiverse thing. We're going to end up with a transgender, non-binary Russian Captain America.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It is going to go to that point. And man, I'm not trying to feel hate, because I'm all for different characters. I'm all for it. Yelena stole Black Widow's show. She was the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Black Widow fan and you're a Scarlett Johansson fan, I think you might be slightly annoyed, because it was Yelena's movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, this is going to segue into the other discussion that I wanted to make, and I'm going to ask, or you can say who we're going to be interviewing on August 4th, and I'm going to ask this person this question. Does a new writer of a character, so let's say I have been placed to start writing about Captain America, do I have a respect factor that I need to follow the original creator's vision of that character? And I believe you do. And I especially believe you do on the legend status characters. If it's a character that never did anything, you might need to tweak it to try to get it to do something. But man, when it's somebody like Captain America, Wolverine, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, you need to just respect what the creator made.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to put their spin on it and make it somewhat theirs, and I understand that. I mean, let's go back. We talked about it before, but Frank Miller on Daredevil. Daredevil was a certain way. He was a little bit Spider-Man light through the 70s. And Frank Miller came in and touched it up. He put some of what he wanted in there. But guess what? It was still Daredevil. He still respected who Daredevil was. He added to it. Nowadays,
just like what Eric was saying.
Yeah. Nowadays, it feels like, hey, I don't give a shit about whatever Superman's legacy is. I got something I want to say. And I'm going to write Superman however I want to. Piss on the past.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. I don't know any other way to say that besides that's just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so...
Now, Sam's disagreeing with us, by the way. He's saying nope. He's saying not at all. So, I mean, is his argument going to be then is the creator isn't the owner of the character, so they don't have to do it that way, or what?
Well, I mean, I guess, again, my opinion is that you have some allegiance to the character. And maybe not even the creator. I mean, not the creator so much. But what's the character? Like, have some kind of respect for who the character is.
Yeah.
You know, the big thing now, and people will bitch and moan and say, "Oh, he hasn't said it for years," or blah blah blah. Is, you know, Superman, truth, justice, in the American way. Well, they won't say the American way anymore. Now it's a better world, or whatever. And it's like, okay, you know, make your spin on the character, but don't turn him into something he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, respect the history of the character. Otherwise, why do you even want to write this character?
Is it just a job? Is it really just a job for you that you didn't love that growing up or read that growing up, and now you're just...
Well, I mean, that is true, Coach. I mean, that does happen. Guys get jobs at Marvel and they're like, "Man, I really want to write Batman, man. I want to write Batman." Man, you know, we've got Jeff Johns writing Batman, dude. We're gonna give you Aquaman. What? Aquaman? I don't want to write Aquaman. I don't even like Aquaman. So yeah, it
Yeah.
is just a job. And then I mean, but again, if I'm the writer, like, let me dive into, pun intended, Aquaman, and go through the history and see what it's like, and pick something else. Like, yeah, I really like that aspect of the character. I'm gonna focus on that. I'm gonna enhance that. And I'm gonna add to it. To me, that is how you respect a character and move forward, instead of like, I don't piss on whatever happened before. I'll just do what I want to do.
Well, that's what Sam just said. I've been told by several writers that the physical image is all that ever really mattered for the longest time.
Yeah, I don't. That's contrary to how I would ever. And well,
I
guess what,
think
guys?
the writing
I'm not a
of the
writer.
character, the writer of the writing of the character would mean more to me than the drawing of the character. Now, the drawing needs to at least be, you know, pretty damn. You can't have a Captain America all of a sudden purple and yellow. You know, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't look at it as like, hey guys, here's Captain America. He's a blank canvas. I mean, here's what he looks like. Do what you want. Just do what you want. I mean, yes, you have to be creative, and you add your own spin. You add elements to the character to make it grow and progress. But again, it's like, well, Spider-Man. Hell, I'm gonna just kind of write him like the Punisher. I'm gonna make him more gritty. He's gonna start killing people.
I mean, that would be just like being a science teacher. And now you're going to do your own spin on what science is. And heck with the periodic table, we're just going to do whatever we want and figure things out on our own.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, in my opinion. Now, this is going to get bad again. As a fan of Wolverine, are you okay if the next Wolverine introduced is X-23 Laura Kinney? And that's the one we get.
Are we talking MCU?
Yes.
Dude, why did you even put that in my head?
It's going to happen.
That's what they're going to do.
100%.
Oh, we can't replace Hugh Jackman. We're just going to make it X-23. It's going to be Laura. She's going to be Wolverine. Oh, my gosh.
It's 100% happening.
It's going to happen.
For sure. You're
not wrong, man. It's going to happen. I think we got to end this stream because I can't handle it. It's true. Oh my gosh, that's what they're gonna do.
Well, I'll let you fester on that one for a while.
I can't handle it.
It is gonna happen.
It really is. That's what sucks.
We're not gonna get the right costume or anything, or worse, she is gonna wear the yellow and blue.
There you go, man. Insult to injury. Hey, guess what? Your Wolverine never even got the costume. She's gonna get it.
Yeah, gonna get it.
She gonna get
it. I don't have much more to say unless you do. Why don't you announce who we're interviewing on August 4th?
Yeah, big alert. We're gonna advertise this big time, promote it big time on YouTube and of course TikTok, Instagram. We got Aaron Lopresti coming on August 4th, artist extraordinaire for DC. I think he's done some Marvel work too.
He has.
Yeah. And he created Garbage Man that was in DC. I think he owns that now though. Got it back from DC, which is, I'd love to ask him how that happened. And
That's
he's
a
got
good question to ask.
Yeah, we're gonna go into that. And he's out promoting his new creator-owned. I believe it is gonna be on Indiegogo. If I'm wrong, I'll or Kickstarter, but I think it's Indiegogo. It's called Wraith of God. It looks cool. It's kind of like a combination of a Western and Ghost Rider. So, but I don't know. I can't wait to hear more from him. What the story is? It looks really cool. Appeals to me big time.
He has the video and stuff up right now on Indiegogo, so I would guess that's the direction he's
Great.
going. So
Awesome. Okay, yeah, Indiegogo then. So I don't know that he's announced a launch date. You can sign up though. I mean, go sign up to be notified when it does launch. You can do that on Indiegogo. There's several books I have that. I'm waiting for them to launch. So go do that if you're interested. And please, we'll promote it big time. But August 4th, we'll have them on.
be thinking of questions. All right.
Oh, yeah.
We are out.
All right. Adios.
See ya.
See ya.